This woman died 30 years ago, yet tonight she will be devoured bite by bite. When the covers on everyone's plates were lifted, the entire room gasped. On each plate lay a different part of a woman's body, from head to limbs, every detail carved with painstaking precision. This was no abstract art piece, but food crafted in a perfect one-to-one scale to match the figure of a real woman. The guests reacted in different ways. Some widened their eyes, their mouths hanging open in disbelief. Some frowned deeply, their faces filled with disgust, while others eagerly pulled out their phones, snapping photos wildly of the chilling creation. Standing beside the table was Hemmingway, the self-assured celebrity chef basking in the crowd's reactions with pride. Hemmingway spread his arms wide, as if unveiling a masterpiece for the ages. With a twisted sense of pride, he announced that tonight's main course was none other than Caitlin herself. He gave a detailed explanation of the ingredients used for this bizarre dish. The legs were made of pure natural lamb, and the chest was crafted from the most tender veal, while to accommodate vegetarians, the side waist portion was assembled from tofu and grains. Yet this recreated woman was no fictional character. Her name was Caitlin, brutally murdered at this very motel 30 years prior during her honeymoon. That night, she and her new husband Joey had just celebrated their wedding, arriving here full of hope for their future. Tragically, the place meant for their joyous beginning became their final resting place. More chilling still, Caitlin and Joey weren't the only victims. This blood-soaked motel claimed 8 innocent lives. 3 decades later, the true killer remains a mystery, known only by the codename Baphomet. Now, 3 decades on, the Cold River Motel has reopened, transformed into a crime-themed destination. For promotion, Ruby and Portia invited obsessed true crime professionals to the opening event. The group included podcasters, actors, scholars, artists, spiritual guides, and violence enthusiasts. Though they came from very different worlds, today they shared the same purpose, delving deep into the mystery of the Cold River slaughter. While checking them in, Ruby gave a detailed introduction to the newly renovated Museum of Death. Each room was meticulously staged. Red doors marked actual murder sites, with bloodstains, knife marks on floors, all preserved or recreated authentically. As night fell, Ruby and Portia hosted a special welcome dinner. After guests consumed Hemingway's special food, he served several glasses of a deep crimson liquid, unnervingly similar to real blood in viscosity and hue. Tasting the blood, guests recoiled at its startlingly realistic texture and potent metallic taste. When someone curiously asked its ingredients, Hemingway's answer froze the room. A touch of vodka, the rest 100% his own blood. Dead silence engulfed the space. Shock swiftly curdled into anger and nausea among the guests. Some questioned the safety of such a practice, but Hemingway defended himself, asking if they had ever considered the health of the animals they ate, including raw sushi. When someone argued it was different, Hemingway insisted the only difference was that he had just given them a part of himself. Unexpectedly, Crow voiced sincere gratitude for Hemingway's act. This moment laid bare the group's true nature. Their obsession with death and extreme experiences had warped ethical boundaries. Just then, a sharp knock interrupted them. A drenched couple entered, desperation on their faces. Floyd pleaded for shelter from the worsening storm outside. Ruby's expression turned icy as she stated the motel was closed for a private event all weekend. Floyd didn't give up and asked if they could at least park their RV in the lot until the storm passed. After consideration, Ruby reluctantly agreed to let them stay in the parking lot overnight. As the other guests returned to their rooms, Paige was left alone with her own deep dilemma. Now 30 years old, she was still trapped in the role of Caitlin she had played as a teenager. For years, she had fought to shed the Caitlin label, but whenever directors saw her, they forever envisioned only the murdered teenage girl from that horror film. Later, she visited Floyd and Shirley in their RV. They instantly recognized Paige as the actress who portrayed Caitlin. Paige revealed Ruby and Portia invited her to leverage her fame for the motel's reopening hype, though she felt intense internal resistance. Trauma from the past and disgust toward the event's commercialization caused her profound discomfort. So she cautiously asked if, once roads cleared, she could catch a ride with them away from here, even just to the next town. She desperately needed to escape this suffocating place of memories and unease. Shirley readily agreed. However, as Paige was leaving, she ran into someone dressed as Baphomet. Terrified, she turned and fled into the woods with Baphomet pursuing her step by step. Paige fell and let out a heart-rending scream. Only when a distant cut sounded did Paige realize this was specifically designed by Ruby and Portia for promotional footage, leaving her furious. Ruby and Portia explained that everything happening this weekend would be used for promotion. The guests enjoyed a free true crime-themed weekend, and in return, granted rights for any content to be used for promotional purposes. This revelation made the guests realize they weren't invited guests, but unwitting promotional props. Their obsession was packaged into a product, their experiences transformed into content. Some expressed willingness to accept the promotion, seeing it as mutually beneficial cooperation. But Andy firmly objected. When asked why he came, Andy explained it was purely for research to gather material. This argument revealed each person's true motives for being here, exposing the darker aspects of their personalities. More importantly, a crucial detail emerged during the argument. Paige was the only guest being paid. Hemmingway reacted with fury, questioning why he provided a full-course meal for free while Paige received payment. He viciously attacked Paige's career and appearance. As other guests defended Paige, Hemmingway continued his malicious assault, mocking her as a washed-up legend famous only for a nude scene covered in snow when she was young. Other guests condemned Hemmingway's behavior. After the argument, the irritable Hemmingway walked alone to the motel's sauna behind the building. He sat on the bench, closed his eyes, and tried to calm down. Then, he saw a masked figure approach the sauna door from outside. Thinking it was another of Ruby and Portia's promotional stunts, he told them to get lost. However, he failed to realize this person had locked the sauna door. Meanwhile, Floyd and Shirley returned to the motel wanting to borrow a shower, and Ruby charged them $335. When Hemmingway noticed the sauna growing unbearably hot and tried to leave, he found the door wouldn't open. He knocked, calling for Ruby, his voice tinged with rising panic. Feeling dizzy, he demanded the door be opened. Silence greeted him from outside. As he started pounding on the door, he realized the solid wood wouldn't budge, understanding it was locked from the outside. Hemmingway tried bargaining for freedom, promising to behave better and even give a good review if the door was opened, but no one answered his pleas. Time ticked by. The sauna became a lethal oven. His cries grew weaker and finally ceased entirely. As planned, Crow organized a seance in the basement. This basement was where Caitlin was murdered 30 years prior, now arranged as a mystic ritual space. Paige lay on the floor at the center of a pentagram, while the others stood around her. During the seance, Crow noticed someone was missing. Hemmingway. Others bluntly stated it was better without him. But Crow warned that without everyone present, Caitlin's spirit might become chaotic and unable to communicate. Adriana recalled seeing Hemmingway heading towards the sauna, so Ruby reluctantly went to the sauna to find Hemmingway. She approached the sauna and found its door secured with a heavy-duty padlock. Peering inside, the sight that met her eyes made her scream with deafening horror. Hearing the scream, the others rushed over, forcing the door open together. They were confronted with a body baked beyond recognition. Hemmingway was dead, and the manner of his death was utterly horrific. Unease and anger thickened the air. Blake immediately declared this was no accident. Crow tried to reason against it, saying murder couldn't be confirmed, but Blake grew even angrier, demanding to know if Hemmingway could somehow pierce the thick walls himself and then lock the door from the outside. The guests began to question the host's motives, wondering if this was another crude and disgusting prank, like chasing Paige through the woods earlier, except this time it had gone too far. Blake demanded to see their phones, suspecting they aimed to post Hemmingway for social media attention. Ruby and Portia vehemently denied this, insisting they weren't murderers and that this would ruin their business. But the guests questioned how their innocence could be proven. Some became convinced the killer was among them. Just as arguments raged and trust shattered completely, another crisis erupted. They discovered all phone signals were dead, satellite connections failed, and even resetting the router proved useless. Everyone was isolated in this desolate place, cut off from calling for help. As fear spread, Shirley suggested using their RV to drive everyone out, even on rough roads, as long as they escaped. Before the words faded, a thunderous explosion rocked the night outside, flames leaping skyward. Floyd and Shirley's RV had exploded. Now, stranded 10 miles from the nearest town in this wilderness of death, 10 people were trapped like caged animals. And they had no idea. The real hunt was only just beginning. The scene shifts back 30 years, showing Caitlin being dragged roughly into a dimly lit basement, the low murmur of chants reverberating around her. She opened her eyes in terror, only to meet the stare of death itself. In the next instant, the killer wearing a demonic mask sliced open her throat. As the mask was removed, the truth was laid bare. The killers were actually the couple running the motel. Though 30 years had etched deep lines onto their faces, with wrinkles and white hair marking the passage of time, the malicious glint in their eyes remained unmistakably clear. It turned out that the couple who claimed to be stranded by the storm and appeared innocent were in fact the true killers behind the Cold River Motel massacre 30 years ago. But an even more horrifying question surfaced. What dark hidden secret lay behind the slaughter 30 years ago and the bloody reenactment unfolding tonight? And what was the true purpose behind this mysterious cult ritual? As the atmosphere in the hall rapidly deteriorated, 8 guests and the 2 proprietors sat in a circle, each face etched with the mark of fear. Thunder boomed outside like war drums, seemingly heralding the bloody feast to come. Floyd and Shirley accused Ruby and Portia of killing Hemmingway, blowing up the RV and deliberately trapping everyone to eliminate them one by one. Facing the accusation, Portia vehemently denied it, stressing she was a businesswoman who had spent a full $700,000 renovating the motel and a fortune on this land, and would never sabotage her own investment. Yet the accusation lingered, and suspicious eyes turned towards Ruby. Her obsession with this former crime scene went beyond fandom. She fancied herself a connoisseur of murder scenes. Adriana believed Ruby craved to recreate the bloody scene, to make history herself. Portia countered, "Didn't every single one of you crave to get close to the heart of true crime? This event offered you the closest possible access to that killing history, bringing you into the most infamous crime scene. And now you repay that with nothing but accusations and panic." Paige angrily stated, "It was under their arrangement that a guest was roasted alive. This is no longer a horror game. It's outright murder." Several guests decided to leave immediately, but Floyd warned, "This woodland isn't safe. Black bears, gray wolves, and mountain lions roam, combined with freezing rain and deadly cold. Venturing into the forest now, you'd either die by beast or freeze to death." His words were like ice water dousing everyone, instantly sobering those dreaming of escape.
"You're a hunter."
Yep, my whole life.
"Normally, I would bow to you letting your primal impulse loose, but given the circumstances..."
I never boiled my prey to death.
"And how are we supposed to know that?"
Listen, fella, where I come from, if you call someone a murderer, you better back it up.
"Prove me wrong, big guy."
Ruby tried to calm the group, suggesting everyone return to their rooms, lock their doors, and wait for morning to contact the outside world. Beneath the surface calm, fear had taken root. Back in the room, Floyd hurriedly asked his wife. Meanwhile, Blake was cooking in the kitchen when Adriana suddenly walked in, and he raised a knife toward her. She calmly diffused his alarm and asked if he would share a room with her, believing she'd be safest with him. Elsewhere, a chilling thought began to creep into Ruby and Portia's minds. Could the killer who committed the massacre 30 years ago have returned? Was it to finish an incomplete slaughter, or had the reopening of the motel awakened a dormant evil spirit? Ruby feigned composure, assuring Portia everything would be fine if they just made it through the night. They then prepared to move Hemmingway's body to prevent further decomposition. The task was grueling. Attempting to lift the charred, distorted corpse, they were sickened by the fluids and burnt flesh, forcing them to pause and gasp for air. In their room, Adriana revealed her disturbing fascination with violence and death. As a flight attendant constantly traveling the world, she used her job to forge connections with serial killers globally, even developing twisted intimacies. Just then, the couple noticed someone attempting to flee. Floyd immediately dressed to intervene. Shirley reminded him they needed 9 sacrifices to open the gates of hell.
"Be careful. For all we know, this could be our killer."
I've never bagged me a killer before.
Out in the rainy night, Crow found his path blocked by a ferocious wolf. At the critical moment, Floyd appeared, shouting to drive the wolf away. He warned Crow that running in these conditions was futile. A beast would tear him apart instantly, so he must stand his ground to drive off the wolf, or it would pounce. He threw stones at the wolf, forcing it to retreat and temporarily averting the crisis. Crow thanked him, then asked why Floyd was there, only to be countered with a question about why he risked going out alone. Crow claimed he was seeking help, but Floyd warned leaving now would only make him prey for the beasts. Crow sneered he wasn't the type to take orders from him, swiftly shifting the topic to questioning Floyd's identity.
What's your real name? Don't say Crow, because that is some made-up Indian bullcaca.
I only got your first name.
Floyd Dantry. What's yours?
You got ID, Floyd Dantry?
I lost it in the RV fire.
That's convenient.
You suspect me of something?
I suspect everybody. Except Hemmingway.
How about I show you?
Well, where are you?
Guess I didn't have to worry.
As tension mounted, Andy found them. Though Crow abandoned his escape plan for now, his suspicion of Floyd deepened. Back at the motel, Crow began expressing his deep concerns about Floyd to Andy. As a spiritual guide skilled in reading people, he sensed acutely that Floyd had definitely killed before. Yet Crow's warning didn't convince Andy, who countered with logic. If Floyd truly wanted them dead, the wilderness offered ample opportunity. He didn't need to bring them back safely. But Crow insisted on his judgment, believing Floyd was biding his time, planning some Hemingway-level horror. This intuition, lacking concrete proof, felt sharper than reason on this supernatural-charged night. Later that night, as she slept, Portia was suddenly smothered by a cold hand covering her mouth and nose. A blade pierced her chest, straight through her heart, before she could even cry out. Soon after, Ruby stirred awake and looked towards Portia beside her, only to be utterly horrified by the sight. Portia was long dead, her still warm heart placed neatly upon her chest like a ritualistic offering. With Portia's death, Hell Motel truly became Hell on Earth. This was no longer merely a tale of a soul killer. It delved into a supernatural legend involving ancient evil forces. Saturn's orbital cycle, blood rites, the summoning of Baphomet, these supernatural elements propelled the story into deeper realms of terror.